Study Section 8, Price Index. Introduction. So far, our focus has been on a single product. However, with more than one product, we must take into consideration the economic importance of each product in measuring the average price change. In a price index, a product's importance is determined by the total value of consumption of that product. Value is measured by multiplying the unit price P of the product with the quantity Q consumed. Learning outcomes for study section 8. At the end of this study session, you should be able to construct price indexes using different methods and differentiate between different methods of index number construction. Explain the various uses of the CPI, discuss problems associated with the CPI, and adjust for inflationary rates in the economy. We take 1990 as the base period. For Apple, we have PR 1990 is equal to PR 1991 is equal to PR 1992 is equal to ice cream 1991 is equal to bread 1991 is equal to ice cream 1992 is equal to bread 1992 is equal to. Where the addition of relative index is greater than 100, it means there is increase in the price. A lower value than 100 indicates a decrease. The price of Apple, for example, increased by 50% between 1990 and 1992 unless the economic power of the consumers followed the same trend of spiral increase. A drop in sale of Apple would likely have been experienced over the period. Simple aggregate price index number. This is the ratio of prices of several different commodities combined into a single summary figure in a given period to the prices of these several commodities in a base period. It is defined as SAP is equal to SAP 1990 is equal to SAP 1991 is equal to SAP 1992 is equal to. The aggregate price increased by 10.84% between 1990 and 1991, but by 1992, the increase is 43.37% above the 1990 price. The weighted index numbers. Value measure the economic impact of the consumer's budget of one product relative to other products. Given P as the unit price and Q as the quantity consumed, we express value as value is equal to Q times P. Example: the table below shows the cost incurred by a university staff on official duty. In 2007, the value of transport is 2,500 times 8 is equal to 20,000. The value of lodging is 5,000 times 5 is equal to 25,000. The value of telephone is 20 times 40 is equal to 800. The total cost of the staff traveling expenses for 2007 is 46,000 naira 400. The relative importance of each item is obvious. Lodgings take a lion's share of over 50% of the total cost. Now, a price index compares the total value of a group of products in the current period with that of the base period. To ensure that only the change in prices is measured, we make use of the same quantities to compute values for both periods. The weighted price index is the ratio of the total value of products in the current year period to total value of the same product in the base year. In other words, we use the respective quantities of the item consumed in the base or current year as weights. The following are the important weighted index numbers under weighted aggregative method. 1. Last payer's index number. 2. Purchase index number. 3. Features index number. 4. Dobish-Bowley index number. 5. Marshall-Igworth index number. 6. Kelly's index number. For fixed quantities, IN is equal to summation Q dot P naught times 100%. There are two approaches to the choice of quantities. Either the quantity for the base period would be used or that for the current year period. Last payer's index. This index uses the base period quantity denoted as Q0. WPIL is equal to last payer's method, where PN is equal to current year prices, P0 is equal to base year prices, Q0 is equal to base year quantities. Purchase index. This index makes use of the quantity in the current period. It is also known as current year weighting system. WPLP is equal to purchase method. Purchase index number. Purchase as taking year quantities as weights in the construction of price index number. Purchase formula is given as follows, where Pn is equal to current year prices, P0 is equal to base year prices, Qn is equal to current year quantities, Q0 is equal to base year quantities. Features index number. Features has taken both current year and base year prices and quantities as weights in the construction of price index number. Features formula is given as below, where P1 is equal to current year prices, P0 is equal to base year prices, Q1 is equal to current year quantities, Q0 is equal to base year quantities. Dobish-Bowley's index number. Dobish-Bowley's index number can be constructed by using the following formula. For example, construct price index number from the data given below, Dobish-Bowley's method. Solution: P01 is equal to 67. Marshall-Igworth's index number. Marshall-Igworth's index number can be constructed by using the following formula. For example, construct price index number from the data given below, Marshall-Igworth's method. P01 is equal to 123.21. Kelly's index number. Kelly's index number can be constructed when we are given current year price, base year price, and raw quantities. The following formula is used by Kelly to construct price index number. Solution: P01 is equal to 95.61. 3. Factor reversal test. Professor Hervin Fisher suggested the factor reversal test. According to him, the factor reversal test implies that the product of the price index and the quantity index should be equal to the corresponding value in symbol, omitting the factor 100, where P01 is equal to price index number for the current year based on the base year. Q01 is equal to quantity index number for the current year based on the base year. Fisher's index number formula satisfies the factor reversal test. 4. Circular test. Circular test is a kind of extension of the time reversal test. If there are three indices P01, P20, and P21, the circular test will be satisfied if P01 times P20 times P21 is equal to 1, where P01 is equal to price change of the current year on the base year. P20 is equal to price change of the base year on some other base year. P20 is equal to price change of the base year on the other second base year. For example, construct Fisher's index number from the following data and show how it satisfies time reversal test and factor reversal test. Time reversal test. P01 times P10 is equal to 1. Factor reversal test. P01 times Q01 is equal to summation P1 Q1 over summation P0 Q0. Fisher's index number. P01 is equal to 116. Time reversal test. P01 times P10 is equal to 1. Factor reversal test. P01 times Q10 is equal to 530 over 418. Thus, Fisher's index number satisfies both the time reversal test and the factor reversal test. Example: a company produces 3 items of goods in 3 consecutive years as follows and sold them at the indicated prices. Taking 1995 as the base year, 1995 WPIL is equal to 1995 VR is equal to 1997 is equal to 1999 VR is equal to. Interpretation: there is a fall of 5.9 and 4.3 in the standard of living in 1997 and 1999 respectively when compared to the base period 1995, which is 100. Problems of index number. 1. Determination of the base period. 2. The data may be out of date and often incomplete. 3. The method of data collection, either by sample survey or total coverage, may affect result obtained from the construction of index. 4. Selection of the base year. Such a normal year is very rare to come by, therefore, the indexes continue as further element of approximation. 5. Indexes contain errors when they are not revised, and if they are, it is strictly not correct to compare one series with another. 6. Indexes are measures of average with the advantages and disadvantages of averages. 7. The unit of measurement for quantity of item may not be the same, therefore, there should be conversion to uniform unit. The Consumer Price Index. The Consumer Price Index is the most familiar and popular of all the indexes used all over the world. It has a lot of important applications and lends itself to wide interpretations. As a result of this, we are focusing this study session on the Consumer Price Index as index of indexes. The history of the Consumer Price Index dates back to the First World War, when it was decided that workers in shipbuilding yards should receive wage adjustment commensurate with cost of living increases. Today, the Consumer Price Index continues to serve its original purpose, which is to measure changes in the price of a basic market basket of goods and services. Uses of the Consumer Price Index. 1. Measure of price change. The CPI is employed in gauging the success of government economic policies. Since it is a highly publicized index number, politicians and bureaucrats are especially sensitive to changes in the Consumer Price Index that point to high inflation. This underscores the need for accuracy and objectivity in the CPI. 2. Income escalation. The CPI has not lost its raison d'etre as a measure of change in the cost of living. In advanced countries, adjustment of salaries and wages of workers are tied to the CPI. Also, adjustments in federal allocations to military and civilian pensions are based on the CPI. It measures the consumer purchasing power or purchasing power of currency. 3. To deflate a time and other economic series. There are economic or time series that involve income. This can be deflated by adjusting for inflationary rates existing in the economy. This is an example of a worker who collects 200 naira per week in the case, take 2, in the base year 1990, and the market value is 200. In 1991, there is an increment of 50 and the market value is 223.2. While the income increases by 50 naira, the market value only increases by 23.2. More than half of the increase has been swallowed by the high CPI, a measure of inflation. In 1992, 1993, and 1994, the increments in salary are 100, 160, and 200 respectively to 300, 360, and 400 naira, with correspondent market values of 250, 281.3, and 444.4. It is only in 1994 that the increment is favorable because the CPI is lower. Further uses of index numbers include A. To assess the past trend of economic activities and the current status and projection of the future economic activities made on the basis of appropriate index number. B. To know the key changes in the selling prices of items. C. It is used as a basis for taking decisions of national importance. Problems with Consumer Price Index. There are some problems associated with the use of the Consumer Price Index, both statistical and otherwise. They include population coverage. A major concern here is the issue of the choice of population for CPL coverage. It is expected that the population should be large enough for the index to have wide application and narrow enough to make purchasing experience of the population members homogeneous. In practice, however, this is not really so. Run into problems of where to draw the line. The economic class distinction is not always clear in practice. Quality changes. Naturally, quality of goods and services are constantly in a state of flux, but the CPL aims at measuring the price change in a fixed market basket of products. Hence, the inability to account for these changes in quality. Theoretically, the naira value to the consumer of changes in quality should be measured, but this is practically impossible to measure. Thus, it is readily agreed that the CPI tends to be upwardly biased. Home ownership. Houses are durable goods and are not usually infrequent purchases. Thus, at any sampling period, those who own their own houses are not directly affected by changes in prices of houses, but the cost of houses is expected to be a major component of the family budget. Invariably, this factor is not adequately accounted for in the CPI. Summary of Study Section 8. In this study session, you have learned that 1. A price index is a weighted sum of prices in time period expressed as a percentage of prices in another time period. 2. A price relative for two periods is the ratio of the unit price of a single commodity written as a percentage. 3. Simple aggregate price index number is the ratio of prices of several different commodities combined into a single summary figure in a given period to the prices of these several commodities in a base period. It is defined as 4. The Consumer Price Index CPI because of its importance as a measure of inflation and evaluator of government policies. 5. The history of the Consumer Price Index dates back to the First World War when it was decided that workers in shipbuilding yards should receive wage adjustments commensurate with cost of living increases. 6. Today, the Consumer Price Index continues to serve its original purpose, which is to measure changes in the prices of a basic market basket of goods and services. This is the end of study section 8. Thanks for listening.